Hello, welcome to Encounter Roleplay. My name is Will, and I'm deeply upset by what Zero Doxy just said. To be honest, but I'm back for another episode of Zweihander Blackhearts, and I'm here. I've just unboxed, in the most manly of ways, the revised core rulebook, which is a total of 669 pages of Zweihander goodness that I'll be reviewing soon on the YouTube channel. Yeah, particularly nice. Probably the nicest thing about this book. Yeah, it feels great. It's lovely. I'm going to be touching it this whole time. Don't worry if you hear stroking. That's definitely just the book. But let's go around the cast and crew. Ourselves of who we are. Don't know why I went there. And who we're playing. Doxy put me in that frame of mind. Doxy, how are you doing tonight?
I'm hanging in there. How are you doing, Will?
I'm good. I'm good. Well, I'm a little upset, but I'm okay.
I don't want to be fighting anymore. Can we be done fighting? Okay, all right. I'm Zero Doxy. I'm playing Persephone. She's a human witch. She's unregistered, and she's also like a huge asshole. So prepare for sass.
Oh yeah, fantastic. And we have Kimmy back with us tonight. Kimmy, how's it going today?
You're muted.
You are muted.
I'll just sit here being the strong, silent type, apparently. That's how things are going. Very well.
I'm certainly
not. I'm excited to play. I'm excited to see where we go now.
Yes, absolutely. Oh, remind us about Danny as well.
Danny is a human fuck, so she is a party girl who is now addicted again to laudanum. So I'm getting paler and paler as we progress. And my goal is to be just a ghost by the end of this, maybe with like veins. It'll be fun.
Go full laudanum. Yeah, I like it.
Yeah.
Fantastic. Well, we have Ruben with us tonight. Ruben, how's it going, my friend?
It's going great. I am in a good mood, and I'm ready to get back to this action. Excited to see where we pick up, actually. I'm not sure where we're going to start and how we're going to proceed. So that's going to be fun to role play as well. I play Nick Rattenberry. I am a human bravo, sharp with a sword, sharper with his tongue. In this particular moment, theoretically on a riverbed underneath an exploding ship. So we'll see how that works out.
It's a good place to be at any given time. We have Lydia with us tonight. Lydia, exploder of boats. How are you doing today?
I'm doing really well. I am so pleased about how last episode ended. I'm excited to find out if I drown or not. So happy to be here again. I play Polaris. She's an elven astrologer, best friend of Persephone.
Yep,
yeah.
And sort of
Speedy,
her off
I love you, but the ladies and I crushed it last week. So.
Yeah, honestly, they
finger gun some lightning bolts into a ship.
Yeah,
force trust ball. It's great.
I mean, it's not like it was better because you weren't here, but I won't pretend it wasn't better. I'm kidding.
Wow.
I'm kidding. Of course, Speedy. How are you doing?
I can leave. I can walk away right now. I can just leave the call.
We needed to do something without the main character of the show.
Yeah. And it's not that you've been dragging us down, but like it felt like a weight had been lifted.
I'm just saying, you disappeared and then awesome things happened.
This is every conversation I've ever had.
We probably shouldn't do this in front of a live
audience. Sound like my ex-girlfriend.
Every ex-girlfriend.
No.
Amazing things happen while you were gone.
Not true.
There was an explosion.
Gross.
God damn it. How you doing?
I'm doing great. Good to hear that all my friends still care about me and want to have me back.
Yeah. Better before.
Will, how are you doing?
I was great. Having a great time last week.
Great until I came back. Yeah. No, it is good to be back. It sounds like you guys really got up to some goddamn shenanigans without me, and I'm very concerned as to...
we need an adult.
Yeah, it sounds like it. it sounds like you need a doctor also. Like, yeah, you can make jokes all you want to. I'm the one with the opium and scalpel.
Right.
All right.
I was gonna say, we had. Oh, please help us. Jeez.
Yeah.
Everyone always comes crawling back to Charlie.
There you go.
I'm playing as Charlie. He's a human barber surgeon. And he is, kind of really emo sometimes and, like really concerned for the health of his friends. And I have no idea what he was doing last week.
I think we said that he was off of the dock to help.
He was helping to protect the doctor and Tom. Yeah.
I think that would be easier so that we don't have to have Charlie caught up with all of the events because we did have quite a limited last week. So speaking of which, we'll get to the recap in just a few moments, but before we get started today, if you haven't checked out Zweihander yet, head over to grimandperilous.com to check out this fantastic grim and dark role-playing game. I have a copy of the new revised book here, which I'll be reading from, and that will be hitting stores, Target, and Walmart, and Amazon as well shortly. So definitely keep an eye out for that. Grim and Perilous Studios produce this wonderful D100 Centaur-based role-playing game, and it's fucking awesome. We've been enjoying it for 10 weeks now, so we're starting to sort of become accustomed to it. Well, I did forget one thing last week, which is that we all need to roll for corruption at the beginning of today's episode, which will be fun for some of us.
Right.
That's going to be a good thing. Our usual sponsors, of course, include FantasyGrounds.com, who's our virtual tabletop of choice. You can check those guys out over on their website, FantasyGrounds.com, or via Steam. You can download the demo version there for free. Try it out, play with your friends, play Zweihander with your friends online. See, WhalingGames.co.uk is a go-to destination for tabletop, board games, war games, and more, up to 20% off the retail value. And then last but by no means least, check out our friends over at TabletopLoot.com, who sponsor the show by giving away a set of dice every time that we hit 20 retweets on this tweet here. So go ahead and get retweeting, my friends. Don't forget you can donate to Feta Game as well. Give players nat 1s, nat 20s, wild magic surges, and words. Give the DM nat 20s. I used them to carve apart some of the party last week. And it was real.
But don't do that part. Don't do that one. Don't do it.
That's bad.
We were also given a lot of movement and actions at the very end of last episode. So
yes.
Help us.
Yes, so it's thanks to our good friend Stafford who helped us out, the party out, and the damage that they were going to take is going to be a whole lot less damaging, let's say, than it was going to be thanks to that. So a quick recap of what happened last time on the show. Oh boy, if you haven't gone back and watched the last episode on YouTube, definitely go and do so. Take a couple of hours and enjoy the Murder Fest. That was last week's show, as the party had got themselves caught up with a couple of witch hunters, Witch Hunter Lieutenant Morland and his lackey, who were investigating them and just wanted them dead, basically. And they wanted to find the Princess of Red Carnage, who the party had been working for, and are going to go to any means necessary, as far as they see, to find that information. They started by going to the temple and attacking the priests and the nuns there, including Mother Paulina.
Not us. That would be the witch doctors.
That was the witch hunters.
The witch hunters did
that. The witch hunters started there and started carving them apart. By the time that some of the party arrived, it was actually Danny who went. Nick was sort of lying in wait, and she had this ruse of the rest of the party, which they'd organized, to blow up a boat, drag the witch hunters out there to blow up the boat and to destroy them in so doing. And she succeeded in her attempt to do that. However, there was one little caveat that Morland required her to prove her faith, and what she was saying was true, by ending Mother Paulina's life. And so Danny ended up having to slit the throat of poor old Mother Paulina. Maybe it was more a mercy killing. At the very least, she was already heavily wounded and injured by the witch hunters, who proceeded to go to the boat, where the party managed to trap them, despite some injuries and wounds along the way. An explosion did go off, which looks like it has caused a great deal of destruction. It most likely is going to kill, at the very least, grievously wound and injure people that are nearby, after Polaris managed to get off a last-minute lightning bolt and saving her friend Persephone in doing so as well. One other thing I should mention as well is that in the prep time leading up to this, Danny has also managed to enchant Sir Patrick Chapmeyer into treason, basically. She's planted the idea in his head that he should marshal forces at Castle Dumire, which is a castle where the plague hounds are coming from, in order to overtake and most likely kill or depose, at the very least, Sir Renfred, who's the current ruler of the city of Einem, which the story is centered in. So he's been, you've been fomenting treason there, and he's invited the party to a ball in 2 nights' time, or I guess 1 night's time now, in which Sir Renfred will be there, and he hopes that Danny can be his sort of agent on the inside, working for him while gaining the confidence of Sir Renfred. So that's the other sort of narrative that we're going to be picking up on today. We'll be attending the ball and getting up to no good with the nobility. But, you know, we've got an explosion to do with, first of all, and the aftermath of that. I'm going to say, for the sake of argument and for bringing the story together a bit better, that you would have sent Charlie a raven to inform him of what was going on. He was delayed. You had to make sure that Dr. Phineas and Tom were safely out of the city and somewhere safe. And so you're arriving on scene, just about the time that the explosion has settled. So. You see smoke and fire and the roar of an explosion as the warehouse gets torn apart from something from within, and the explosion ripples out and flattens the warehouse. The shards of wood fly into the air, and a small fire begins on another building as well. It looks like it won't spread too far, but suddenly this cacophonous sound has immediately raised the attention of the city guard, who you hear bells ringing, and likely the fire brigade, as such as it is in Einem, will likely be on the scene as well as you rush in. You haven't spotted your companions immediately, but for our companions, you dived into the water, and moments later you feel that surge of energy coming from behind you from the explosion, and your bodies are propelled forwards out into the wharf, or further down into the water, as the case may be, with Nick as he was swimming down. So everyone will take 1 step on the damage meter as the explosion ripples out, and it was going to be way worse, but luckily you got out of the way in time. At least
so go ahead. By 1 step, that means that we go from lightly to moderately, moderately to seriously, or does that mean that we add 1?
No, that is correct. That you go 1 step up on the 1 step on a track. So from not injured to lightly wounded to moderately to seriously.
Only those in the water, right?
Yes, for Danny, I'm pretty sure you were far enough away a couple of moments before, at least you're outside of the building as you had run out. For those of you in the water, you're lucky to have survived with your lives at all, honestly, after the huge explosion has rippled out. So moments later, Danny and Polaris, first of all, shoot over to you. The two of you find yourself sort of dragged together in the water, and your ears are blown out, so you can barely hear anything. You know that you're in the water, and you can just about make out the burning warehouse behind you as you sort of emerge out in the middle of the wharf. You hear shouting voices and screaming and crying and all sorts of noises.
I think he meant Polaris and Persephone.
I did. I'm sorry.
I'm not jumping in the water.
No. I mean, you can if you want, but yeah.
How damaged does the boat look?
The boat is gone. I mean, when you look back, you just see like the warehouse is like a smoking ruin now. You can't make out anyone moving there. All you see really is Persephone next to you once you dived into the water.
And Persephone, are you like unconscious now? Are you okay?
I'm seriously wounded. That means that I have to roll another injury, right?
Yeah. I think you take another injury.
Oh boy, you can't swim with that dislocated shoulder.
All right, let's do this.
Oh wait, I've got a revised book I can look
I think it's a D6 to determine if you take an injury.
Oh,
you might
yeah,
be
you're
right.
right.
You take one. You take one immediately when you go from lightly to moderate. You'll always take an injury. But when
Right.
you go from moderate to serious, you may take an injury. Yeah.
I think it's if you get a 6.
Yeah, I think
Okay.
6 is the bad
Yeah.
one.
Yeah. 6 is the bad news there.
Um,
So that's good. So Persephone, at the very least, is looking in a bad state health-wise. You would recommend her probably take some time to sleep.
Yeah.
Take a night.
I am also moving to moderate. So
Okay.
I am to roll a d6 as well.
Let's check. And I had the idea in my mind that for some reason when you go from slightly to moderate, you automatically get an injury. Let's roll one for Nick. Let's roll a d6.
Okay. I mean,
And I'll
if
look
I
at
get
it.
one, then I can roll a d100. What do you want me to roll?
Yeah, let's roll a d6.
Okay. Okay. So I don't get. Would that be like a second injury? It could. I mean, what would the injury be?
There's a table.
There's a
Roll
table.
a-
You roll a d100. So yeah, we'll see. Okay, so when a character's damage condition track drops to lightly wounded, there is no risk of injury. Once their condition drops to moderately, they must immediately roll a 1d6 chaos die. If it's a 6, they suffer a moderate injury. So I was wrong about that. You don't automatically suffer an injury when you get to moderate.
Okay.
I think there was
So
an ability of reading on a creature which automatically gave you an injury.
Right. That's right. Yeah,
Yep.
because the witch hunters were super vicious or something.
Yeah.
So I do not get an injury from moving up the damage track.
That is good. And you'll see the two groups of you will see one another popping out of the water moments later. So Polaris and Persephone, you spot Nick further off in the wharf, sort of resurfacing from the deluge.
As I get out of, or my head comes above water, what do I see on the shoreline? Do I see cops showing up yet, or could we play this off like we had no idea what was going on?
So the immediate panic seems to be they haven't reached the actual location yet, and Charlie's with this one of the first people on the scene as well. So Charlie will be here before anyone else. They're going to be at least another couple of minutes in getting organized to get down there. So the guards are coming, but their response time is significantly lower than I expect nowadays.
If I don't see any guards immediately on the shore, and the first two people I see are Danny and Charlie, I'm going to swim towards them.
Yep.
Guys. Oh, Charlie. Oh,
What's going on? Did it work? Are they okay?
I don't. Everyone's in the water, but I think that they blew up. Can we reach down to help Nick?
Yeah, I will pull Nick out of the water. Are Polaris and Persephone still deep under, or?
Well,
No,
I
they've
have
surfaced as
a
well.
I have a rattled brain and a dislocated shoulder, so I am not the best swimmer right now.
I will jump in the
I am
water
gonna-
and drag you out.
I'm gonna straight up rescue her like Baywatch style to
Love
the
it.
shore. Yeah, I'll grab her and swim.
Okay.
I
So
imagine my ears are ringing also, and I can't hear anything.
Yeah,
it's
I bet
probably the same for all of you. You're probably deaf, at least a bit right now. You're probably all shouting at each other to be able to be heard. Polaris and Charlie drag Persephone out of the water. The group of you reunited can see that guards are indeed coming towards the scene, but they're far enough away to not be able to identify you at this point, and they seem to be more concerned with the fire. Things like this, fires like this, while uncommon, wouldn't be considered like an act of terrorism. It's more likely
Right.
something gone wrong. Fires happen for all sorts of reasons when you build houses out of wood.
Right. As I get out of the water, so Charlie, you jumped in, yeah?
Yeah.
Okay. So it's Danny and I on the shore. Do we see any There's no sign of the witch hunters anywhere, right?
You can roll me a perception check.
I'll roll 2. I think we're both kind of.
Okay. Mine's a success.
You spot a body which has been blown asunder. You see like a leg here, an arm there. So at least definitely one dead person that must be one of the witch hunters, but you at this point couldn't identify them as either Morland or his lackey, seeing as the lip is burnt and blackened.
How close to the arm am I?
Yeah, you could run over and get it if that's what you want.
Okay. I want to take the glove off the arm. Is there a ring? Signet ring?
There is, yeah.
All right, I'm taking the signet ring and I'm taking the glove.
Okay.
And then I'm throwing the hand in the water.
Okay.
That's pretty gross.
So at this point, all of you are out of the water and on the warp side.
We
I think
shouldn't stay here. I don't know what to do, but are you all right? Can you walk?
I can walk. Stephanie, can you?
I don't have any chalk. What?
I think both of our ears are probably bleeding, and I know that I'm probably shouting, so I'm going to try not to talk.
I want to go to bed.
Yeah, we should head back to the tavern.
Is the tavern safe still? Can we still return?
The only one
I know one of the taverns is going to be safe.
All right, then I suppose let's go.
Yeah, I don't think that we should go back to MASH tonight. MASH doesn't need to have our attention. We should go back to the Known Whisper.
Yeah, we should check on MASH.
Okay.
I would just put my arm around Persephone because I can only half hear what's going on, but I also don't want her to keep shouting.
I'm also going to. I'm going to quickly scan everyone and make sure all their wounds are bandaged up. Otherwise, you will bleed out and die.
Yeah.
Thank you, doctor.
Okay. Are you guys looking to make your way back to the Known Whisper or to the Horse and Mare?
Not the Horse and Mare.
Yeah, go to the Known Whisper first.
Yeah. Okay. So are you looking to go unnoticed past guards and crowd?
We ideally would.
Okay.
Ideally.
You could all roll me a stealth check. We'll take
Sure.
as a group stealth.
We're all rolling stealth, right?
Yeah, so let's have a group check. And Danny, if you want to roll that one, oh, you got it.
Oh yeah, I finally got it.
Yeah, it's all good.
I'm a
Holy shit,
stealthy
I
boy.
did it.
Oh damn.
Yeah. So Danny and I do not pass.
This is the way, guys. This is the way.
So it looks like, yeah, as you guys are shouting, at least a couple of people and some guards are tracking that Danny and Nick are coming from that scene. They don't stop you, they don't stop to ask you anything, but you know that you've been seen.
Okay.
And there's that. Okay.
Do we? So we know we've been seen by the Poe.
It's kind of unavoidable, yeah.
Okay.
You know, you the two may be leading the charge to get spotted.
That's cool. We'll have to. I'll turn to Danny and say we've been clocked. We'll have to come up with a cover story later. I mean, it was our boat that blew up, so it's possible that we were just whatever. We'll come up with a cover story later.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
I want to go to sleep forever.
Yeah, by this time it's getting close to dawn.
Yeah.
So the sun is starting to rise. Rosy Finger Dawn is making her way across the sky. But for an hour running through the city, once you get away from the wharf, you make it over to the Known Whisper, which is the seedier side of town. The barkeep Dawson with the peg leg and the one eye nods at a group of you as you come in, and you also recognize Alicia, the Bravo, who's also the weapons dealer that Nick has been with, and the alchemist that we spoke with previously. So Patrick Chapmeyer has left a little while ago, and most of the patrons have left at this point as well. It's that point where even the heaviest of drinkers are like passed out or have gone off into an alley to pass out.
I'm going to take I only have 7 gold pieces left. I'm going to slam them down on the bar in front of Dawson and say, we need rooms and we need no one to know we're here.
He looks at the group of you, clearly eyeing you down with your injuries and burn marks and bleeding ears, and I'm like, yeah, all right, 5 rooms for the night. No need to sign on the register. I don't have a register.
Do we need 5 rooms? We need 5 beds. How many rooms is that?
Well, however many you want, really. If you all want to be in the same room, I can manage that. Move the beds around.
What are we doing?
I don't want to stay in a room alone.
2 rooms.
2 rooms it is. And Dawson will show you to some actually surprisingly kind of nice rooms for the place that you're in. The sort of downstairs looks like it's really seedy and like purposefully seedy. It's like a dive bar.
Right.
It's a dive bar and leans into it.
Right.
The upstairs is slightly higher end than you may be expecting, and the rooms are pretty nice. But you did pay him quite a bit of gold. Yeah. You also are buying anonymity here at the Known Whisper, which is invaluable to me. So yeah, Dawson shows you to the 2 rooms and leaves you alone. But he's downstairs if you need anything from him.
In the room that I'm staying in, is there a window?
Yes.
You said that the sun was coming up, so I'd like to get a good view of the sky and see if there's anything that I can discern, any like feelings I get.
Yeah, you could roll me astrology.
I don't think there's an astrology roll. There's folklore.
Did I mean astrology? What did I say? What's the skill that you use to do your magic?
Astronomy.
Astronomy is the one.
Is that a thing? What is the thing you usually
It
roll?
wouldn't be a skill.
What do you normally roll?
I think folklore.
Oh, is it? Okay. I was under the impression there was a astrology one, but that's cool. Yep, you can roll folklore.
Okay. I'm just double checking.
Wouldn't it just be perception?
So it's a little bit more like mysticism-y.
Yeah.
So she's like
Fair
reading, it's almost like reading runes, I guess.
24. So I'd kill it. I also have 3 bubbles in folklore.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're right. I don't know why I thought there was an astrology. It's totally not on there. So your the portent is like particularly a good one in the sense that it's optimistic, and you also get the I guess like the reading that you get is that a great weight has been lifted. You can interpret that to mean whatever you want. Certainly you're feeling a lot better now that you know the witch hunters have been dealt with.
Okay. Who's staying in my room with me?
Probably me.
Yeah. Charlie, are you staying with Nick and Danny?
I'll stay with you just because the more injured people are in this room.
Yeah, that's true.
By more injured people, I mean Persephone.
I think that after gazing out of the window for a little bit, I would feel pretty happy and probably more excited than I should be in this moment. But I would rush you guys like to the window and be like, look up at the sky. Do you see? What do you see when you look up?
I feel like Persephone probably just crashed. Like the minute she was in the room, she probably just collapsed onto a bed.
That's fine. I understand. I'll tell her in the morning.
Sorry.
It looks like dawn.
It does look like dawn. It looks like a new day. It looks like a weight's gone. I think we did it.
I hope so. If we haven't, well, I don't suppose we're going to be around to say so much longer anyways.
I'm just saying I get the feeling that everything's going to be better for a little bit.
It's encouraging to hear.
Get some rest.
I can't rest yet. I need to make sure you're all okay.
I'm fine. We need to pay attention to Persephone. I'd like to watch her sleep for a while. Do you want to take a shift with me?
Yes. I should tend to her wounds. She seems like she's been fairly rattled. I wouldn't want her to suffer permanent.
Even though Polaris just offered to stay up and watch Persephone sleep, I don't think she can. I think she's crashing as well. So I would lay down next to Persephone and, like, I would snuggle up to her.
Oh.
She's my best friend.
And then
Whatever the
after
female
you've fallen asleep, I'd
Yeah.
push you apart a little bit so that I can do surgery without you.
You're like, this is cute, but
No.
Not medically. That's against every code. Please.
Sorry, guys.
Okay. Yeah. And so I will do what I need to do to treat their injuries. Or to treat Persephone's injuries anyways.
So she has 2 injuries. Okay, so to
I need to do a heal test.
Injuries must be treated successfully before recuperation. Yeah, it's a standard heal test to try and heal 2 injuries.
All right, and I have
opium.
Yep. And I have some abilities that give me some +10 to base chance.
Yeah.
Twice. I'm taking my time on this with determination. So that's not a great number to roll, but heal is 52, 62, 67, 77.
Yeah.
you
have another bump?
Nope, that's it. 77.
77's a good heal number. That's a really good number, but
yeah,
not quite good enough.
Okay, so both failure and critical failure mean you cannot begin recuperating until undergoing successful treatment. Okay, so you can try that again, I believe, in 10 minutes is how long you have to be left interrupted to try and heal an injury.
I think you can only do it
once a day.
24 hours.
Once per day.
Yeah.
Oh, is it?
Treated separately too.
Yeah, you may only be
You
treating
have
this
to
manner.
decide which one you're even treating, by the way.
right.
Yeah. So the treatment, if she was treated successfully, then you begin recuperation, which brings back your HP. But seeing as she's still injured, her wounds do not recover for the next day, at least. And
that was just for her
will take a while.
injury. To do the same thing for her wounds, also, I think. So I'll try that. I
You can
think
treat injuries.
it's
you can
the
bind
page
wounds to
before is
recover.
bind wounds to recover. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh, no. I was wrong. You can't recover your damage condition track if you are suffering from injuries that have yet to be successfully treated or undergone surgery. So,
Gotcha.
All right.
So injuries and bind wounds or
You're-
recuperation, yeah.
you're stuck near
Yep.
death for a while.
Oof.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I am
take a nap.
useless in combat too, by the way. Useless.
Mhm. Polaris, you're only lightly wounded, so I automatically succeed
Yay.
in trying to fix you.
Thanks.
Um,
Good
Nick, you hurt?
I am. I'm in the other room though. I'm letting you
Okay.
deal with with Polaris and Hilda. I'm honestly probably standing outside the door, in the hallway. I'm letting Danny have her space and just making sure that no one is coming up the hallway, nonchalant. But I am moderately injured beyond character. I am on moderately injured.
Yeah.
But I'm going to let
Okay,
you handle
well-
them first.
Yeah. I am doing that takes me 2 hours.
Okay.
Or like an hour and a half. Because with my feet, I took my time. If you're still standing out there, then Charlie will...
Two
walk
hours
out.
later,
Yeah.
I'm probably still out there. I would have found a chair, and I would have set up the chair in between our two rooms, and sat there, leaning on my Mongosh.
Nice. I'll take a step outside and very gently close the door behind me. Oh, you're oh, sorry. Didn't mean to wake you.
No, you're fine. I'm supposed to be keeping watch anyway. Sorry. How are they doing?
Polaris is all right. She'll recover by morning time. Persephone's a bit more rattled. I can't quite say.
All right.
I
Well,
did just say
we'll-
Persephone.
Well, oh, I'm sorry. Who?
Hilda.
Can I? Would you make me make a roll here?
You can.
Yeah, I'd
You
say
can
there's
tell.
yeah,
But this
there's
is
a
like
case
PvP,
for-
so I don't want to roll against another player.
Sure.
I don't need you to roll to tell that was a very obvious kind of like
Okay.
misstep in speech.
Cool,
like
cool. All right. Well, good. They'll let them rest. We'll talk about that later.
Oh,
The
How are
plan
you?
went well. I'm gonna be okay. I'll be fine. If you have extra healing stuff, I'll take it. But I'm not the priority. I got a little blown up back there, feeling a little waterlogged, but I'm only moderately hurt. So hopefully we'll have a chance to rest. I think that Danny and I were spotted leaving the scene. If we were spotted and recognized, and they find out that we're here, all tonight, we got bigger problems. But fortunately, the known whisper, I think, can fend for itself if the coppers start. So I think we'll be okay here for the night. They did good back there. Everybody did real good back there.
it's good to hear. It sounded like pure chaos, if I'm honest.
Yeah. Well, We need a little chaos to get them off our backs so that we can do whatever it is we're doing here for a little while. I don't know exactly what it is we're doing here. We need to have another one of those talks, but I think we're free to do it for a little while. How's the dock?
Safe, as far as I can tell. It's got a hideaway somewhere outside town, secluded.
It's good.
And doesn't seem like anyone else knows about it, so safe, and that's the most we can hope for.
There's a bunch of folks in this building who are useful in a myriad of different ways. There's an arms dealer, there's a drug pharmacist, there's information dealers of various kinds, there's power brokers in this building. What do you need to be most effective? We now have some resources. We now have some plan. But those don't mean anything if we aren't properly equipped. We all picked up things like armor and some weapons before we, and of course a lot of booze that we blew up in the process. Tomb was particularly pleased about that. But not everything is sharp, pointy sticks and thick hide. Do you need a new sharp, pointy stick or new hide, by the way, for yourself? I see you usually fight with that shaving implement.
It may not be the most effective as a weapon, but can't imagine myself holding any other blade.
That's fair. We might have a chat with Alicia later then. See if there's anything that feels acceptable, that's a little bit more effective in combat, and something that you won't, get messy, so that you can actually do some barbering. But what about tinctures and treatments, balms, anything of that sort, illicit or otherwise?
The doctor was kind enough to provide some opium for painkillers. I can perform surgery on you if needed, but I suppose I can always use more. I think Hilda might be in need of some laudanum soon, but we have some of that to spare as well. No,
Fair.
I can't say there's anything particular, but stocking up is never bad.
Thank you. We're going to need all the help we can get in whatever it is we're doing. And we'd all probably be dead without you, so it's nice to have that. We'll talk more in the morning. I'll go check on Danny, see if she's all right too. I don't know if she got hurt in the blast or anything. I'll stay out here for now.
I'll take a quick look, and I'll take a look at you after. And I will walk into the room. Is Danny awake?
No, she's asleep, I think, hanging over the side of the bed, kind of like her arm is, and there's an empty bottle of laudanum on the floor. And next to her, I think her book is open with a limerick that she has a pen in her hand. And it's open to the last limerick that she was writing.
I I glance down at the notebook, and I'm scared to read it because I don't want to read anything personal. But if it is just a limerick, then Charlie will do himself the pleasure of reading it.
All right, so it's prove your devotion, he said. Already the priestess had been bled, a knife across her throat. Another limerick simply wrote, inside nothing, empty dead.
He sets the book gently back down on the floor, closes it, and he will gently move Danny back into bed fully, put the covers on top of her. Doing so, making sure that her breathing is all right, that she's not in danger of anything.
Yeah, I don't have any injuries. I'm fine.
Good. He'll... Yeah.
Physically, I'm fine.
Mm-hmm. Take the pen from your hand and set both the book and the pen down on the bedside table. And he will pocket the empty bottle of laudanum so that it doesn't end up being found. And then he will walk back out of the room.
Oh, we can keep Danny's secrets. All right.
Hey, look, he hasn't had... No one has asked yet.
He hasn't had any time to process that secret yet, so...
He hasn't had any time to attempt lying.
Yeah. When you come back out into the hallway, first of all, how busy are these hotel rooms? Are there people passing by? I'm just keeping an eye out for anyone that is suspicious to me specifically. And then when Charlie comes back out, I will take that healing now, please.
All right. Where's it hurt?
Where doesn't it hurt? What are my injuries, Game Master?
I don't think you have
I'm
any injuries.
I'm
You're just
moderately injured.
Yeah.
I thought I
So
moved
just,
up once on the damage track.
Yep. So you went from slightly wounded to moderately wounded?
I went from moderate. I was moderately wounded at my height.
Oh.
Yeah, I think you just didn't roll any injuries. Like, I think that you succeeded your injury rolls, so you didn't get any.
Yeah.
You didn't succeed any.
Yep.
So you just need to cure wounds.
So you need to bind wounds to recover rather than treat injuries. And if he's moderately wounded, you have a +10 to the heal test.
Okay.
Yep. So, maybe it would be best if you you lied down.
Sure. We can. Is she asleep?
Yeah, she's asleep. She's all right.
All right. I'll lie down on that one. That's your bed, though. I'm staying out here till tomorrow.
Get some rest. You've had a long night. I haven't had nearly as much to go through as you have. If I need relief, I'll wake you.
I will lie down on the bed to get bandaged up. Still deciding if I want to argue against that, and as I'm being bandaged up, I will pass out.
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah, this goes.
That's better.
That succeeds.
Yep. That'll do it. So you're no longer wounded.
Great.
So I think it's now just Persephone who has injuries and wounds still. So it's the next morning. Charlie will keep watch. No one comes and goes from the hallways. But you do hear people sort of like waking up, and there's starts of noise downstairs because you went to bed at like dawn, so it's probably you guys are waking up in the afternoon.
Yeah.
And
I will
tonight
say,
is the night of the ball as well. Yeah.
Oh,
While everyone else is asleep, I want to make sure that Charlie, while sitting outside in the hall and watching, I'd like to read that book on the crows if I have the chance to.
Sure, you can take a pass at that. Okay.
Very tired, having a hard time getting through
Yeah,
it,
yeah. You start rereading the sentence over and over, and then you realize you're tired. It's pretty dense, so it's like reading an academic text, but one written like 1,000 years ago. So even more boring than usual. Tough to decipher, but that will allow you a plus 10% folklore test when it comes to the crows. For spending at least some time having a read on it, so you know a little bit more about them for now. So yeah, the morning comes and then passes, and then the afternoon comes, and it is the day of the ball as you guys wake up in various different states, and the group of you arise, although I guess Persephone might still be asleep, or at the very least in not such a great state as you guys get up. So I guess Charlie's the first one because he didn't really sleep through the night as such. You're there when people sort of wake up.
Yeah. Charlie is dead tired, and as soon as like anyone else wakes up and like is ready to relieve him, he is going to go back into the room and go to sleep.
Okay, so Polaris, Nick, Danny, you guys get up and sort of switch out for Charlie. You can wake him up in the evening.
Yeah, we'll get him up for the ball. What do we know about the ball?
All you know is that it's at the Chapmire estate. Sir Patrick Chapmire has invited both you and Danny, although you're allowed to bring guests as well. So as long as you vouch for Stephanie, Polaris, and Charlie, they'd be allowed there as well. It's a gathering of all the nobles and intelligentsia of Einem, and that's about all you know of it, really. He didn't give you too much information about it, although it is the location where Sir Renfred is going to be, who now runs the town. He wants Danny to befriend Sir Renfred. Yeah.
So the political battlefield / layout here is that Renfred is in charge of the city that we're in.
Correct.
The Chapmires are, at the moment, allies with Renfred, but
yes,
were also powerful people before Renfred showed up, and wouldn't be too sad if Renfred weren't in power anymore.
Yeah, they
Meanwhile, so Patrick at least wants that power back. Philippe, we have not met yet. Philippe seems like a much more intelligent and wise person than this Patrick gent.
Yeah, he's less politically inclined.
Right. What do we know what we want out of? And also, by the way, some of the other power brokers that we think might arrive at this particular event are some of our other folks that we've run into. Nick would say. For example, I would not be terribly surprised if Marcus Viridian was in attendance. I would not be terribly surprised if even if Dr. Phineas were invited to this particular event, being a doctor. And of course, Nick would say they've almost certainly invited Mother Paulina.
Mm-hmm.
So those are people who are going to be at this particular establishment.
And Mother Paulina's death is not known.
Not publicly known.
At this point, yeah. Although they've probably uncovered the bodies.
But I wouldn't know that yet.
I have to go shopping.
Yeah, I think we all should get our Sunday best. Polaris, you can. Yeah.
What?
I was going to say you can. You have other stuff to do, I think, right?
I just need to go and check on MASH, but I would get outfits or something nicer for both Persephone and I know she's not going to like having to wear something nice, but I'll do it anyways.
Okay.
Well, if you have to go do that, I'm good at sizes, and I can hem it up a bit if needed. I can just get dresses for the both of you.
Thank you.
I think
Danny, just make sure that make sure Hilda's is black.
I'm giving her a plunging neckline.
That's fine. Don't tell her I said that.
Charlie, you're gonna read all day, you think? Nap and read? He would have said before he went to bed to go nap.
I'll just be out for a little bit. I don't know what I'll be doing for the day. Perhaps some Barbary.
Great. I'll try to find something that'll suit you as well. If you don't mind, if you guys, while you're out, find, because what I'm wearing is what I got. I do have style, I do have grace, but I have neither of those things right now. If you see a three-piece suit that might suit me, I would be most amicable to that. My sizes are that I am.
You would know them.
I absolutely would know them. I'm 5'11". I am last time I weighed myself, I was 187 pounds, although I have almost certainly lost weight since then in the weeks since Ostwald. 15 and a half, 32, 33. So, go pick stuff up and we'll hem and haw it. And same with Charlie. We'll get shaved up nice and bright-eyed and bushy-tailed for the thing tonight. I think I'm gonna spend the day here. I think I'm gonna stay here at the Known Whisper and just keep my ear open, ask some questions, try to get some information to see what we're walking into exactly. Because we had a battle last night of one kind. I think we're potentially walking into a battle of a different kind. Not nearly as violent, but certainly as dangerous.
Okay, so to handle the getting of dresses, the getting of suits, Sunday bests, etc., that can all be handled. Feel free to come up with whatever dresses you'd want, or
Perfect.
suits, or hats, or whatever it is, items of attire that you'd like to wear to this event. You can describe it to us when we get there. Polaris does check in on Bash. He's totally fine. He's reopened the Horse and Mare today. The word is on the street, which any of you guys going out to, I think in fact all of you will probably get, except for maybe Charlie if he's sleeping and resting, is that they are looking into the fire at the warehouse, the city guard force, but they haven't arrested anyone as far as anyone knows. They don't even know if there's anyone who started it. It could have been an accident. Stories range from it was just a random fire to it was a act of treason against the church or the witch hunters, but that's probably only something that Nick would get. Most people seem to not know that witch hunters were killed there at the very least. There's also talk of murder at the temple as well. So rumors begin to circulate that Mother Paulina has been murdered.
Oh dear.
No one knows who by, but the temple was sacked, and all of the priests and nuns inside were butchered to a man. So all of you would know that by the time that the evening comes around.
All right. I've got a quick couple questions for people at the Known Whisper during the day.
Mm-hmm.
I want to talk to Dawson at some point during the day.
Yep.
And he seems like my buddy at this point, so a good amount of this, had we had more time, we would roleplay some of this of like, what the hell am I doing, man? Like, what is happening here? Like casual bartender talk of like, what am I doing with my life? But I also specifically want to ask him, Sir Patrick came in here the other night. We're going to this event. who else will be there. I want the political scuttlebutt layout of what to expect.
Okay.
As best as he knows.
Yeah. Everything for a price, obviously, of Dawson, so you probably end up forking over a couple of brass coppers at the very least.
Yeah, of course.
To get some information from him. So he reckons that the ball is as much a showdown of laying the stakes between those who back Sir Renfred and those who back the Chapmires in what is becoming a rather tumultuous Cold War at the moment, at the very least. So all the aristocrats, all the merchants are picking sides when it comes to whether or not you pick Sir Renfred, which is a vote for the Emperor in life. Because Sir Renfred is actually, apparently, was a close personal friend to Emperor Godfrey, which is not something that many people can say. Or if the more traditionalists, more sort of like conservative-leaning aristocrats and intellectuals would go for the Chapmires because they are historically built and own Chapmire. They still have a lot of merchant pull. Let's say, they're still the wealthiest family and own a lot of the banks and guilds and sort of trading houses throughout the city. So there's a more sort of let's make a lot of money through being an Einan types who would vote for the Chapmires. Because if you get them back in power, then they're going to make a whole lot more money because they're friends of the Chapmires.
Are we expected to choose a side?
No. So when you go to the party, you're not expected to choose a side, but it's a known thing that people are there to size one another up somewhat. So the battle lines have been drawn in the sense that this is a party which is where people are going to feel one another out for where they're standing. Before there's any conflict, I want to know where you guys are standing and on which lines of battle lines are going to be drawn. And it's not necessarily that there is a war coming as such, but there will be trade wars, potentially governmental disputes and the like. So it's anarchy in a fairly controlled way is coming. Another thing you learn about surrender just by asking to Dawson is that Dawson reckons that he is above all else an honorable man. So he's an old knight. And he has a reputation for fairness. So that's what you learn about him.
All right. I would, assuming Alicia is there.
She's not actually. She's absent from the known whisper tonight, and even Dawson doesn't know she isn't there.
Works for me. And then is the drug person there, the apothecary?
Yes. You know that his name is Leroy.
Leroy. So I would ask Leroy a couple of questions about general, just like Advil equivalents, like pain medication.
Sure.
And I mean, Ruben, the player playing the game, and Nick probably have the same amount of information on exactly what the effects of laudanum are, and would ask just like about them. And are there any good, like, good ways of counteracting the ill effects of laudanum?
No, unfortunately, other than not taking it really. Again, being that medical science hasn't advanced to a point where people even think laudanum is necessarily a bad thing, or has any side effects really that are bad. It gives mechanically you'll learn this. It puts you one step up on the damage condition track, but it does give you one corruption. And that you can remove corruption in the game, but it's not an easy thing to do. They usually just.
What if you're full corruption? Can you just not take laudanum then?
Then you reset, I think. I'll have to go read the track. You definitely gain a chaos rank. So you've already done. That's fine. Until you hit 10 chaos or order. And so I think if I get recession, I just think you failed. So that's good. We'll go with it.
The last thing that I would do is take this ring, this signet ring that I have, not bringing it out in public. I just want to look at it, compare it to the books that we have, compare it to the notes that we've followed, and see if I know what it is.
It has the identical symbol as the symbol of the Church of the Emperor that you found on Marion's boat, and it's of the same make and the same like stamp on the bottom of it. So,
Okay. Yeah. But I still don't know exactly what that stamp means or represents. I know that it is vaguely related to the Emperor.
I think Polaris found us out, and she would have told you this when Mother Paulina was alive. I think she took it to her, and she said that it was someone high within the church, higher up than Mother Paulina. So witch hunters, yes, that would make sense that these are both marks of the witch hunters, but also potentially part of a group within the church which is separate from the witch hunters as well. So a secret society seems likely.
Okay. And I will be at the bar.
Alrighty, so let's meet back up at the bar. You've got the new dresses, any equipment you needed to buy, you can go ahead and buy it. Any items of clothing that you're wearing. So let's get some quick descriptions of what you guys are wearing for your new outfits tonight.
Go with me last, because I have a costume change to make.
Excellent. I think you've already made your costume change. What is Danny? What's she wearing? What kind of dress has she got? What other items of attire has she put on for the whole type?
So Danny has a blood red lace floor-length gown with lace sleeves, and Kimmy's not wearing a push-up bra, but Danny would be wearing a push-up bra. So, because she's having to seduce Renfred, so like we're thinking boobs up to her throat kind of a thing. And then baubles that she doesn't have enough gold to purchase anything that's actually true gems, but that look nice enough that could be considered like, oh, those are probably real, but they're not.
Okay, excellent.
And definitely bought a black, probably lacy, but like with a nude, slip and bodice underneath, with built-in uber push-up for Hilda. So whether Hilda or not, she's also going to have boobs up to her throat.
You see scars on her chest. She would have demanded gloves that came up her arms because she has scars all up and down her arms too.
I feel I would have probably, I probably have, oh dang, I have black gloves somewhere. I'd probably have black gloves too. And well, actually I'm probably wearing black gloves, and when she says that, I'll take off mine and give them to her.
Okay. All right. So we know Stephanie's wearing. Charlie, do you put on your Sunday best, or are you appearing as the barber?
My outfit is exactly the same, but I also have a bow tie.
Nice. Strong. Okay. Yes. Polaris, what kind of dress did you get?
I don't know. Danny got me one.
Oh, Danny, yeah. What kind of dress did you get, Polaris?
Navy blue, floor length. Oh, look at Nick. Navy blue, floor length. Why can't I think of the name of that fabric? Velvet with like white starburst embroidery, white and silver starburst embroidery. So it's sort of like a night sky.
I love it.
A little bit of like a tail at the end of it.
That's precious.
Fantastic. And then Nick. Nick is, yes, you can see. He's looking very
nice
fun.
wide-breasted tuxedo, cufflinks, Do we know what the So I would have this conversation with the group. Are we wearing protection of some kind? Are we bringing protection of some kind? What are we doing in terms of armor and weaponry? Just leaving everything here?
It's the kind of place that you would be searched. So Danny's nibbles before they would have a quick check of make sure no one's going to bring any clubs or daggers.
How serious are they going to be? Are they going to look in our shoes? Like, what's the? Get patted down.
Yeah, very easy to get patted down. Maybe if you look suspicious, they don't recognize you. You may be able to pay them off. It's a lot better than like security at like a concert or something like that, because there's a lot of rich people attending. They can afford the security. They don't care about like narcotics though, but they are specifically looking for bad
weapons.
Yeah.
Okay. Charlie. They probably are not going to question a barber surgeon if the barber surgeon has their straight razor. Thoughts?
You're right. I was planning on bringing all my equipment anyways.
Okay. At least there might be like a knife check room or something like that. There's lots of knights there. I assume there's like a sword check.
For sure.
I think if they have a sword check, then I can bring my stuff, but otherwise I'm going to leave it all here.
I mean, if you were a knight, you might always travel with your sword, in which case you would be expected to hang it up. But if you're not, it might be strange for you to come with the sword, so they might question you for that.
Okay. I'm not going to bring any weaponry.
My like spell book or like my spell focus is just a staff with like all kinds of like constellations carved in it, and it doesn't really look like a weapon.
You're also a mage.
Yeah, right. I'll bring my papers.
You're also staff. Yeah. No, you'll be fine walking.
Right. You're licensed. You're good.
Okay.
Just checking.
I would hope.
I bring nothing.
Yeah.
At all. Nothing at all. No needles. No grease. No.
Oh, actually, I would slide a few needles into the fabric of my dress, like hidden.
Yep. Cool.
They're just holding the fabric together.
The safety pin.
Danny has like a garter belt with just one throwing knife in it, like focusing on her inner thigh, so hoping if they pat her down, they won't feel it on the sides because she kind of doubts will go.
They might also. They're probably less likely to pat down a lady as well, and probably in these times they're looking for mercenaries and soldiers. Would typically be the chaps who go around with big swords on their backs. So that should work in your favor here. Okay, so the group of you head out to the Chapmeyer family ball this evening. How are you arriving? Are you just walking there? You're going to hire a coach, horses? Still.
Seems like a entrance might be in order here.
We have some gold, so I think we'll hire a coach.
Yeah.
Okay. It's 2 gold, I think, to hire out.
Okay. We want the good limo. You know what I mean?
Right.
Like not some bottom of the barrel. Like we want to look good when we show up to prom. So you know.
Okay. I don't quite see the point of this, but if you say so, you're the expert here.
Alrighty.
If you look more important, you know, fake it till you make it. If you look more important than you are, you're likely being unknown can open some doors. Being known can open different doors.
Persephone hates everything about this.
And all of the doors. Okay.
Oh, I will lean over and say, excuse me, Hilda, and I will glance at Charlie as we are in this coach. and would say, would you prefer I called you by a different name, perhaps? Like Bangers? Or something else? How would you like to be called?
Hilda's fine.
Okay.
Quizzical look at Charlie.
Then I will lean back in my seat.
Something that rhymes with Schmurschneffany. Yeah.
Charlie is sweating.
Charlie's doing totally fine in one shot, and then Persephone gives him the quizzical look, and we cut back, and he's just drenched in sweat. All of a sudden.
Right.
Yeah.
I think I might don the fancy accent again, everyone. So don't be too surprised when I go back to Nicholas Rattenberry, just to try to cover things up.
Jesus.
Hopefully that's all right with you, Charles.
I'll be honest, I had forgotten about it, and
I had.
It was nice.
keep on doing it.
It's been a few
It's
episodes, certainly.
fine. We don't have to be talking to each other the whole night anyways, huh?
Correct.
Okay, so you roll up in this very fancy carriage and coach at the Chapmire estate, which is the most beautiful garden and house that you've seen in a very long time. Certainly that you've been allowed into, possibly ever. It's the wealth and status of these people is spoken of by the amount of statues which litter the gardens as you're rolling up along the long driveway, and the sheer amount of our coaches which are here, and the clientele, the kind of people that are getting out of them are all wearing these beautiful long gowns as well. The knights who are in attendance, of which there are several, have donned their sort of more chivalric attire rather than the more muddy and gritty uniforms that they might normally wear, and they're resplendent with flowers and all sorts of iconography of various different plants and animals as well, which mark them out to be distinct, separate, and their own sort of personal heraldry upon them. There is an immediate sort of security check as you're going up to the house itself, which, by the way, seems like half of it is made out of glass, and the rest maybe is like marble. The parts are entirely gold as well. So these people are stinkingly rich and seem not to mind hiding it either. It's that sort of old money is what you get from this place as well. They've had money for a very long time, and it seems like a lot of the architecture of the city as well seems based on this house here, or at the very least, a very similar and congruent to one. There's a security check with several knights who seem to be like assisting their chapmires themselves, who are checking for weaponry and the like, and invitations. You guys are immediately let in. And are let into the ballroom itself, which is this magnificently decorated golden circular room upon which people are dancing. There's a wonderful set of musicians on violas, violins, and everything in between, essentially. And the food immediately assails your nostrils as this beautiful, delicate sense of roast swan and foie gras and the most expensive and fine meats and wines from all across Penumbra. And in attendance are probably about 200 people at first glance around the room. A lot of nobles, aristocrats, knights. There's security that seem to patrol around. Immediately, you can spot out Sir Patrick Chapmire, who's next to his, who you can only assume is his father, as his father has an arm around his shoulder. Sir Patrick is tall and somewhat more imperious looking, while his father is shorter, and he doesn't really seem to be... He's wearing a suit, and it's kind of a nice suit, but it's sort of scruffily worn, as though he hasn't really bothered to check himself in the mirror at all. And he's got a book in his hand and under an arm, and he's seems to be talking at some length to not only his son, but to a gathered audience. It looks like he may be orating a verse, which of course you know about Sir Philip Chapman. He's a poet, self-described at least, and writing his 22nd novel and book of poetry. You are also surprised to see, I think Nick in particular, you're surprised to see that Alicia is in attendance here at the ball. Her notable absence from the known whisper is made even more mysterious by her attendance here. She cleans up pretty good. Last time you saw her, she was in the back alley, back room, in the smoky room of the.
Well, you didn't have to try harder to make me attracted to this character.
Suddenly she carries herself with an air of confidence as one who is used to attending galas and balls like this, as she swerves her way through the crowd and makes eye contact with you for just a moment. You also do note the rotund figure of Marcus Viridian in a corner, who seems to be quietly speaking in somewhat secretive tones to a group of other merchant class folk around him. He's inordinately fat and nervous and sweaty at any given time, but particularly so on a night like this. And then coming out of a back room, you see the man that could only be Sir Renfred, as he is flanked either side by a couple of large armored-looking knights who seem to be his personal bodyguard. He's older, maybe in his 50s or so. A craggy face with a scar running down from his neck, where it looks like he was almost cut in two, or at least his throat was almost cut at one point, and carries himself as though he's not particularly interested in being at an event like this. He politely nods, shakes hands with people as you watch him, who seem far more interested in speaking with him than he is interested in speaking with them. He strikes you as a kind of old soldier who's tired of a life in politics, even if he's only been in it for a little while. It seems to tax him somewhat. But nonetheless, he seems friendly enough. A shock of dark hair, which is graying swiftly, running across his head. And so those are the immediate movers and shakers that you make out in this wonderful-looking ballroom. Though you will note that it seems as though Sir Renfred and the two knights are headed toward you, the group of you. And he has made eye contact with some of you in the group and seems to be moving towards you. Not with any particular menace, seems to be meandering through the crowd, but there's an intent to speak with you.
All right, everyone, pretend that you sort of want to be here, but really don't.
I don't think that that's the right play with him. Well, I'm the only one that needs
Actually,
to play with him.
you're in charge. You tell us. You're the coach.
He looks disinterested in all this. I'm going to feign disinterest as well.
I will follow her lead.
Wouldn't be too hard.
So after a couple of minutes of meandering through the crowd and getting through the well-wishers and the new guests who wish to shake his hand and entreat him to help them with whatever small business matter it is they're interested in, and he's not, Renfred makes his way over to the group of you, the two knights flanking him, and he says, I'm pleased to say that I don't know the group. Your newcomers to the city, I am Sir Renfred.
Sir Renfred, pleasure to meet you.
Charmed.
This is also tiring, isn't it?
Yes, these galas and political events can be somewhat taxing at times, but they are necessary, I'm told. And he glances behind him to the two knights, who seem to also act as maybe political assistants.
I'm Danielle. It's such a pleasure to meet you. I've heard nothing but overly flattering things about you.
I'm sure that's not the case. An awful lot of people here don't like me, and, well, I can't say I blame them. I'm not exactly like them. Nonetheless, charmed. And your friends here, please introduce me. It's always a pleasure to meet outsiders.
Here's Nick.
and using my normal, I'm not going to use the affectation now that the room has been read. Now that I'm following Danny's lead, Nicholas Rattenberry. Very nice to make your acquaintance. Thank you so much for the invitation.
Rattenbury.
Indeed.
That name is familiar. Why is that so? Do you know an old knight? Travels through here every now and again. Urquhart was his name. Yes, he had a boy, young lad, Nicholas Rattenbury. I never forget the name.
Can I make some sort of roll to keep my composure?
Yeah.
Or maybe I just don't. No, I'll play it as like I'm not. I will say, well, I don't know any other Nicholas Rattenberries, and I certainly am aware and know very well Sir Urquhart, the Hedge Knight. I traveled with him for a time. How is he doing? I haven't seen him in a very long time.
Urquhart's well. Last I heard, he was headed southlands, south down to the marshlands, to deal with some dispute down there. A good man. Very good man. I've had a few dealings with him in the past. I'm glad to see that you're still well. It doesn't seem to be as though you become a knight and taken the same path as he.
Well, we parted ways many years ago, and I have made my own way in the world, and knighting, while enjoyable, didn't fit my skill set exactly.
Well, nonetheless, I'm sure a noble profession is the one which you follow. And he looks at Charlie. A barber?
Hello. I'm Charlie Barber. I'm a barber surgeon. Not quite from here, from Ostwald originally.
I know your father then, I would think. Yes.
I would say my good to hear his reputation precedes me, but you imagine that's not the case.
Yes, I did hear that unfortunate news, but I knew your father maybe as long as 20 years ago now, when I was spending more time in Ostwald. He was a good man, and I should say that I could do with a shave from him nowadays, now that I'm old. I'll have to seek your attentions, Mr. Barber.
Well, service is always available to you. A friend of my father's is a friend of mine. Never quite knew very many of those.
Well, I'm not one to believe that we are responsible for the sins of our fathers, so he was a good man. And even good people are misguided in dark times like these. Who's to say if he wasn't doing something good?
Yes, it's always the best of intentions. That's how I would describe it.
And I am told by my guard that we have a registered mage with us here. You must be Polaris.
I am. It's nice to meet you. I'll do the thing and like put my hand in his hand.
Yeah. We'll take it and do the sort of like standard kiss on the hand thing. It's a pleasure to have one of your order amongst us.
Well, it's an honor to be here.
Yes. Well, and then is this your colleague here? Looks towards
our friend. A mage. Persephone. Hilda, barmaid. She wouldn't have messed up. She wouldn't have.
Doxy messed up.
Doxy messed up. Persephone never would have.
I would have loved that, but
I'm honored. Tell me, how does a barmaid find herself in an event like this?
Friends in high places.
You must
And
be
I
friends.
pour a mean ale.
Very good.
We all escaped Ostwald together and have become fast friends.
By the Emperor. That is a tale. Tale indeed, one which I've heard not too recently as well from another friend of mine.
There were others then who made it out?
Some. Not too many. You might have heard of them. Some Blackhearts made it out.
Indeed.
At least for a time, they ran into some trouble, though, I hear. Although one shouldn't speak about such things in public.
Are the Blackhearts here?
I'm afraid not. I can't say exactly where they are. Something tells me that something bad might have happened to them. I'm not sure how much you follow the politics and events of the city, but there was recently 2 witch hunters here in the city. Last night, well, they ran into some trouble down on the docks. Last I had heard, the witch hunters also were keeping the Blackhearts somewhere. I'm not sure where.
I see. A shame what happened to them. I didn't have the pleasure of meeting the witch hunters.
Oh, it's no pleasure, my son. No pleasure at all. Those 2 parasites are seeking only one thing, and that is the dissemination and destruction of society and people as we know it. But again, one mustn't be heard saying such things, especially on a night like this.
Indeed.
Perhaps you're right. These are things best discussed in private.
There is actually something I would like to discuss in private with you. That is Mother Paulina. Polaris, I believe the 2 of you were well acquainted with one another.
We talked often.
Then might we have a conversation in a private room? I'm sorry to tell you, unless you've already heard, that Mother Paulina was murdered last night.
I haven't heard.
I'm sorry for your loss. She was
That's
a
awful.
good person. Always did good work for the people of the city here. She won't be missed. But coming to the bottom of the murder, well, rumors abound. The witch hunters did it. A band of mercenaries from outside of the city. I'm hoping that maybe you can help me with some information. So, if you don't mind, it won't take long.
Of course, I'll speak with you.
Your companions, you should join us as well. Something tells me that there's more to the group of you than meets the eye.
Indeed.
Alright.
Well, sure. That sounds amicable. No secrets between us.
He leads you into a back room, which is, despite being a back room, still huge for a room. Has a long table down the middle of the room, which isn't set, and there's no food on it at the moment. It seems like all of the attention has been left to the front side, but it is a lot quieter away from the bubble and babble of sound coming from the halls and music sort of drifts away as well. You left in
I
private.
would have taken a drink back with me. Just
Sure, yeah.
Just FYI.
Danny would have definitely grabbed a glass of wine if someone passed by.
Mhm.
Yeah. Renfred has some like spirits in the back room that he'll offer to you for a drink as well, in case anyone wants one. and sort of invites you to sit down across the table from him as he takes a seat as well. So, Polaris and the rest of you as well, I'm looking to get to the bottom of Mother Paulina's murder, and I feel like you might be able to help me out with a few things.
What can we help you with?
Do you know anything about her death?
I had not even heard of it until you told me just now. It's awful.
He leans in for a long second. You're telling the truth. She died by her throat was slit, but she had been stabbed several times with a variety of different knives. Seems as though she had been tortured. It's the standard operation of the witch hunters, I understand it, to torture the information out of their victims, first of all.
That's awful.
They are dead, and they're witnesses.
Mother Paulina and I spoke often, and of course we didn't always see eye to eye on things, but I'm so sorry for this news.
Yes, as am I. I can't help but mention some of the guards recognized Mr. Rattenbury here, and Danielle, you as well, of being on the docks last night where the explosion took place that took the lives of at least one witch hunter. Were you down there last night?
That was our ship. It exploded.
Yes.
We caught news that there were bandits, or it was unclear, but the docksman found us and told us that something was happening aboard our ship. We arrived just in time to see it go up in flames.
Is that so? Let me be frank with the group of you for a moment here. I am in charge of the investigation as to what happened to those witch hunters. Now, one of two things will happen. I will either report that there was suspicious activity and more witch hunters will be down upon my city in a heartbeat. They'll be looking for anyone involved. They will seize the information that we already have found and will likely put hundreds to the torch. Or I can say that I found nothing of suspicion. And then I will not have witch hunters crawling all over my town. I think we can both agree which one is preferable. All I need now is some clarity on the situation so that I can be put at ease.
Sir Renfred, I apologize. As you mentioned, we can't be too careful. And I will produce the signet ring from my pocket and place it on the table in front of him.
They were after Polaris. She's registered. There was no reason. Vile.
I see.
And we will have you know that we merely defended ourselves.
Yes. I understand. Or at least I think I do. The hunters at the best of times are malicious. At the worst, they are ruinous powers. It is best that they are gone, one way or another. For whatever reason they were looking into you, I have to say that I don't care. I consider it a personal service that they are gone. But this ring here, And he picks it up. There's something more to it, perhaps. He was a personal friend of the Emperor in his life, and very closely connected to a lot of high-ranking members in the church and elsewhere. This ring is their symbol. Only a few of them have it. They call themselves the Shattering. As far as I understand, it's a secret society, although I've never been able to break into it, nor learn what they do. Does that mean something to you?
It's showing all over Charlie's face, if nothing else.
Yeah, he like a hawk, closes in on Charlie and looks at you with those old, wise eyes. Mr. Barber.
We encountered some knowledge at some point as a result of let's just say as a result of our survival of the tragedy of Ostwald.
I see. Should I be concerned?
Knowledge is a dangerous, and I would not share it lightly. However, you seem trustworthy. You haven't cut off our heads yet.
Well,
have you ever heard the name of Darian before?
Long ago. Long ago. On the witch's spine. A madman.
And the Heartless Man.
Not that name before, no. Darian, yes.
Darian.
I think, Mr. Barber, it's time that you told me everything you know about this Darian and the Shattering. And I think that's where we'll end tonight's episode of Zweihander, the Blackhearts.
Shit.
Felt so short tonight.
I know, I do have to run a way too early today,
Yeah.
I'm sorry. Normally we go for a little longer. Real life sucks. It's actually good. But it means I don't get more Zweihander in my life. It's bad, but yeah, we did pretty well. We actually got a lot done in 2 hours. We had new gear, new dresses, new plots, new plans, healing, getting to a party, checking out the party.
Yeah, healing lots of it. It's so good.
Yeah. Doxy's still real close to death.
Yeah, I really shouldn't be at this ball at all.
What am I
So you
doing
have a
here?
shoulder that's just like
Yeah, one of my arms
And
is
you're
just
like dazed and
hanging down.
confused.
Yeah. You're like, what's going
Ooh,
on?
maybe she would have said Persephone instead
You should
of
not
hello
be
during
drinking right now.
session. I didn't.
should-
I didn't take any drinks.
Okay. Good.
I would have said.
in your dress that you're probably just jabbing yourself with every time you move because
Right.
you forget that your hair.
Nah, she's got a pincushion. Or they're in her hair.
Yeah, that has. Oh dear, but yeah, the plot thickens, my friends. As yeah, we're going to figure out what's going on there next time. But it seems like Darian had some pretty bad friends as well. Maybe the witch hunters were some of them, which might explain why they were after you guys.
Right.
But now they're blown up. Or as Renford said, at least one of them is. Let's go around and cast in the crew. Did we enjoy ourselves tonight? Where can we find any wonderful people online? Danny, Kibby, how was that tonight for you with Danny?
That was fabulous. I have a limerick about the Shattering because, of course, I do. And
Great.
I think I would have forgotten about them had it not been for the limerick. So I'm actually really excited for that later. But it was amazing. And I am Miss Kimmy D, Miss Kimmy D85 on Twitter, Miss Kimmy D on Twitch. More importantly, you should follow my fiance, Alex Neat. He is doing amazing musical things. He's doing all the music for the new Hyper RPG Kolak 1991.
I love Kolak.
My fiance is the one doing all that amazing music stuff. So go follow him. He's I just think Alex Neat on Twitter, Alex Neat Music, I believe, on Twitch. Neat is Niedt. So go follow him. He is an impressive man that I have latched myself to. Not that I'm not fabulous on my own.
Naturally. Equally fabulous as one another. That's right. Excellent. Fantastic. Man, and fun seeing Danny get further and further falling off that wagon, and that laudanum's going to kick in. So that's
We're gonna have to talk.
We're going to need to talk. Yeah. Doxy with Persephone Hilda. How was that?
It was kind of a lay low episode for Persephone, and you know what? That's okay. Sometimes you get hurt and you gotta lay low. She's not stoked to have her titties out. She's not into it. I'm Zero Doxy. If you want severe disappointment in your life, you can follow me at the links that'll be in chat here in a moment. Wow.
That's why I go and see my parents. But now I have another.
No.
How was that tonight for you and Nick?
That was great. Got a nice little lore drop at the end for Nick. That was cool. Got to have some. I got to do a costume change in the middle of the episode. Put on my tux, which will be back next week. And I'm excited to finally. I want to speak to your manager, Nick says to everyone in this godforsaken town, and now we've done it. And so maybe we'll get some answers from somebody who knows something. Whether or not that person kills us later, who knows? So the ring, pulling it out. Sorry, I didn't go over that plan with everybody, but
perfect.
You know.
Hey, when are you gonna start considering us in your plans before carrying them out?
Oh,
yeah. Problem. Anyway, hey everybody, my name is Ruben Bressler. You can follow me everywhere on the internet at MOXREUBY, Twitch, Twitter, Instagram, all of those places. I am the Dungeon Master for Ravnica the Broken Pact, the Guildmaster's Guide to Ravnica show on twitch.tv/DND. That's Monday nights at 8. Please do join us for that. Our penultimate episode of the season is this coming week. I will also be on Dragon Talk, the official Dungeons & Dragons podcast, not today, but next Friday at noon or 1 Pacific with Greg Tito, Shelley Mazanoble, and 2 of my players, Ashlyn Rose and Jordan Pridgeon. And it was announced today that not only myself, but 10 Doxy will be at Dungeons & Dragons 2019 Live, The Descent, on the weekend of May, 19th, 20th, 21st? Was that what it was? Let me look.
17th to the 20th.
17th, yeah, 17, 18, 19, 20 is a big Dungeons & Dragons Live event in Los Angeles, and the Broken Pact is going to be a part of that, and I'm very excited to be a part of that as well.
Oh yeah, awesome. And Lydia, how was that tonight for you and Polaris?
Polaris and I had a great time tonight. I love the dress that Kimmy picked out for us. It's so pretty. I love the stars. Anyways, shit is getting real heavy and it's getting real tied together, and I love it. I can't wait to find out what is going to happen. I'm nervous every single time I have to talk to somebody by myself. But I guess that's how it's supposed to go anyways. I'm Lydia. You can find me places. You can find me on Twitter at CastleMacLydia. You can find me playing D&D in my basement with my friends and my family on Sunday nights, which is twitch.tv/CastleMac, we are starting Storm King's Thunder on Sunday night, and I'm gonna play a Luxodon, which is an elephant person. Pretty stoked. That's it. I mean, that's all. Just thanks, Will. I suck at this.
Yeah, thank you, Will.
I remember this.
You're the best, Lydia.
Thank you. I need to write a script or something.
Yeah. No, just wing it.
Yeah,
wing it.
That's what I've been fucking doing, and it's really working for me.
I always just go with what's in my heart, and it's, you know, bitter disappointment for
It's
everybody.
definitely not my heart that tells me to say the things
Also
that I say.
So thank you.
That's what I do too.
Go to Speedy now. Go to Speedy.
Yes. Back to the studio.
Are you sure? I thought we were done with me.
Oh,
Well, just because we're better without you doesn't mean that we're done with you.
it was
Right,
really
right.
good to have you back.
We're not.
Really?
We're not. I swear, we love you. You're amazing. We're not better without you. Please don't ever leave.
Yes, yes. Okay, validate me more. Thank you.
Don't be back out.
Nobody respects
no,
the
it's
healer
really great
until
to be
they
back.
need them.
After like, I guess it's now been 3 weeks since the last time we had like an actual game where I played.
Yeah.
So it's really good to be back, and in it, and oh man, I'm excited to see where things go. Real worried that Persephone is just gonna die at any given moment. Really, all it would take is a light scratch at this point.
I should have not come to this ball.
For sure.
You should drink some laudanum tonight or something, just to.
I am
just to
full
clear-
corruption.
I
Right?
think that just
Oh,
resets after a session.
Yeah.
I'm not sure
I
how
don't
that
know.
works.
I'll look up the corruption. I couldn't
I was
find
looking
out.
up the
It's
rules.
just,
I think we're
it's
supposed
just
to
a dinner
roll-
party. I'm sure nothing bad is going to happen.
Yeah,
we roll
totally.
in
Nothing's gonna
Definitely
happen.
known as like free chaos ranks, so we'll
Yeah.
And
it's
Danny
when
has
chaos
enough
ranks max
laudanum.
out that you really need to be worried.
Yeah.
Danny has enough laudanum in her system that it's probably just like coming off of her now. Like,
We're
so you're
getting a
probably getting like
contact
high
Yeah.
Just go
laudanum
like
just from being
Yeah, that's how
kind of
it
close
works.
to Danny.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
You just sort of exude it. It's coming out in your sweat.
For my pores. Yeah.
Ugh. I'm a doctor. I know how that works. But yeah, no, it's great to be back. And it's I can't wait for next week to see what deep lore comes out of Sir Renfred and what he's expecting to learn and gain from us.
I don't know how to
Yeah.
seduce him. I'll think about it.
Good luck. Good luck. he's a pretty stalwart guy.
I know. I'm gonna have
This
to.
is like,
stoic boy. That's his thing.
It's
see.
not my usual.
Stoic boy.
I'm a dainty female. Ugh.
Right.
It's gonna have to be like I'm tough and like I don't know.
Yeah, well-
she'll figure it out.
Yeah, you know, like Nick and Sir Renfred are gonna have a fight over Alicia, I think, because
Yeah.
we're going to fight.
Anyways, I'm Speedy, your local barber boyfriend, and you can find me everywhere as Not So Speedruns. Follow me on Twitter and Twitch. I stream sometimes. I make a lot of really good tweets all the time. And I also I organize a community called Cast Together of streamers supporting mental health. And you should definitely go check that account out on Twitter at Cast Together, so you can be up to date with whatever cool Twitch charity streams are going on for mental health causes and stuff. That's it.
dope. Yeah, I love it. Yeah, this is awesome for me. Absolutely love Zweihander every single week. We should play a little bit more today, but I can't. God damn it, real life. I do have this wonderful book, the revised book, to I'll be reviewing now on YouTube. Go over to YouTube. We're close to 18,000 subscribers over there. I think we're like 7,969. So
Nice.
Nice.
go subscribe over there, and I'll have the video up there. And, I don't know, whenever I do it. All right, don't pressure me. What else? I don't know. Tomorrow we're streaming a bunch of different stuff, but I won't be here. So enjoy Shadow of the Demon Lord tomorrow, and Sibaroom is on at 11 p.m. Eastern as well. So
Wait, did you mention that you're like a D&D sex god? I feel like you missed that at the beginning.
I may have done. Did I miss the fact I'm a D&D sex icon? Because I am. And
Oh, thank you for reminding us.
words. they're mostly mine, but other people have said it as well. So, I mean, I'm taking that as validation. Today was a lot of fun. I love playing Sir Renfred. He's one of the main characters, or main NPCs I get to play in Turncloaks, a podcast that we do based on Penumbra as well. So he's like a major NPC there, and I've been doing some other writings about him as well. So it's a lot of fun to play and get to introduce you guys to the current ruler of the city and see where the hell things goes, because you guys may end up betraying him, murdering him. Who God knows what's going to happen to you. You all.
I don't want to. I just had to make sure that he was on our side.
You gotta make sure.
Way better than that nozzle. Like, I like him.
But yeah, he's definitely got one up on Douche Nuzzle McGee. But hey, we'll be back next week. Check out Zweihander if you haven't yet. But until next time, try not to roll too many at once, because we want to be here laughing when you do. Good night, everybody. Bye.
Bye.